What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be discussing yet again another in-season or end-of-season review for certain teams. And today we're going to be looking at a team that actually made the NBA Playing Tournament, but unfortunately did not manage to get through the NBA Playing Tournament. Today we talk about the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets took a big step this year, but was it a big enough step to really bring the belief that that team can go places? We have seen the Charlotte Hornets be in the Playing Tournament before. We've seen them get absolutely dismantled in the Playing Tournament before. Ultimately, that last game against the Orlando Magic was not a good representation of what I think the Charlotte Hornets can be. But I gotta say, compared to the last time they got absolutely obliterated in the Playing Tournament compared to this time where they lost 121-90 to the Magic, I actually do see a little bit of a brighter future there. So let's talk about the Charlotte Hornets and let's talk about why I think this time for the Hornets will be different compared to the last time. And before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, feel free to drop a like, follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know what you guys think about the Charlotte Hornets and ultimately what you see their future being, as well as how do you think their season ended this time around. Again, I think there's a lot of positives to like about the Charlotte Hornets. Looking at some of the players, of course, there's a lot to like there. LaMelo Ball, superstar-worthy player. Con Knipple, I mean, one of the better rookies out there. Brandon Miller, I think, is ridiculously underrated. I think Brandon Miller is actually one of the more underrated players in the league. Naturally can get to his shot. Very good mid-range shooter. Very athletic. It almost reminds me of Andrew Wiggins, but I feel like he could potentially have a better... I mean, Andrew Wiggins was pretty good. It's still pretty good. So, again, good player, though. Really, really good player. Miles Bridges, of course. Very, very good player as well. Kobe White, former Bulls player. Absolutely love Kobe White. So many things to like there. Guys underrated like Grant Williams. I also like a couple of the centers that they have also. So, there's good quality guys there. Ultimately, still a young group. So, I'm not going to sit here and say that this group is going to go absolutely ridiculously far. I think they still need to make good acquisitions in the NBA draft. And I also think they do need to keep on bringing in veterans. I think Kobe White is a very good veteran for them. Is he, 26 now? 25? Something along those lines. But they still need more veterans. I think their team is still too young and too inexperienced. LaMelo Ball is also getting to the point now where you could kind of classify him as that veteran leader in the team. So, yeah. A lot to like about the Charlotte Hornets, but they're still so young and so competitive. And the way that I view their differences compared to the last time they were in the Playing Tournament to this time is they took a really big step up defensively this year, especially towards the end of the year. They were beating a lot of teams, not because of their scoring. There were a couple of times the Melo Ball didn't play, a couple of times where they didn't really deliver on the offensive end. But their defense was swarming. They had rookies like Con Knipple absolutely go ruthless on the defensive end. For a rookie to do that is quite insane. And again, they got a couple of bigs, good rotational pieces that just absolutely put in work defensively. They became a really strong defensive team. That's why I think their potential in the next upcoming seasons is better than the last time the Charlotte Hornets made the Play-In tournament. Way back when they got pretty much decimated. I think it was by the Bulls, but I'm not entirely sure. It could have been the Heat. It could have been someone. But they got decimated the last time they were in the Play-In tournament. Maybe it was the Hawks. It was whoever is in the Play-In tournament, just assume one of them beat the Charlotte Hornets by a significant amount. The Hawks, the Heat, the Bulls, one of them did it. I don't know which one, but one of them did it. Okay? Let's move on. Yeah. This time around, defensively, they put in a shift. And I only expect that to get better as the seasons go on. Let's just say hypothetically, they keep the team relatively the same. They will have a big decision to make on Kobe White, who is an unrestricted free agent and can get paid loads of money. But I'm pretty sure if you trade for a guy like Kobe White, you have the intention of keeping him here long term. It's like what we did with Josh Giddey way back when we traded him for Caruso. You don't trade for a guy like Josh Giddey if you don't plan on keeping him around long term. The Charlotte Hornets know what they're doing with Kobe White. You don't just keep him for a season-long rental. If you traded for Kobe White, it's with the intention that you keep him around long-term. So I fully expect Kobe White to be a Charlotte Hornet for the foreseeable future. I fully expect the Charlotte Hornets team to improve defensively. I fully expect them to kind of, if at the very best, stay where they are. I would like to see improvements. Ultimately, the league is very difficult, very tough. Certain teams will be rising and certain teams will be falling. So I expect the Charlotte Hornets to at least stay where they are. but I'm hoping for improvements. But it's very key. They've got decisions to make in the NBA draft. They've got decisions to make in free agency. Here's what I think they need. I do think they need veterans. They're a young squad, relatively inexperienced squad, and also a squad that doesn't have a lot of experience in those playing tournament and in those playoff environments. And I think you're starting to see, it's not everything. I mean, the Spurs made the NBA Finals. That was their first time in the playoffs in about 5 to 6 years. And now they're in the NBA Finals. Victor Wembanyama, his first playoff appearance is in the NBA Finals. It's not everything, but experience does mean a lot, especially when you're in the middle of the pack. You do need that experience to get over the line. And you might need that experience to avoid the play-in tournament in general. That does matter. I mean, the Raptors, we'll talk about them soon, but a guy like Brandon Ingram has been in the league for ages and has been a part of some decent teams, really bad teams, but some decent teams as well. That sort of experience and just being an all-star level caliber player for so long, it can take you out of moments where you're in the play-in tournament. The Raptors survived that area, and they did quite well in that first round as well. Guys like Scotty Barnes and the rest of their young squad will learn from something like that. That's what I think Charlotte needs. They need to get out of the play-in tournament first and foremost, but they also need that experience of what the playoffs taste like. Because a young group like that, as hungry as you saw them at the beginning of the season, or I should say the second half of the season, the beginning of the season wasn't great, but the second half of the season, that's what I'm looking for. That's what they need. They need that improvement. They need that sort of experience to want to keep pushing forward. When you get a taste of the playoffs, you don't want to go back to mediocrity. You don't. The players don't. The fan base don't. The organization don't. The managers don't. The coach don't. No one wants that. They don't want it to begin with, but they don't want it even more when they actually get the experience. It's been the problem with the Hornets ever since I could remember. They didn't have many good teams that went straight to the playoffs. I'm thinking of the Kemba Walker era of the Charlotte Hornets. I think maybe once they made the NBA playoffs in the 8th seed. I can't think of another time that they were there. I'm sorry, there may have been multiple times, but I can't think of it. Even back in the Charlotte Bobcat era, they were not a very good team. So there needs to be an element of progression with that franchise. And I hope this is the time to do it, because North Carolina or Charlotte, North Carolina should be a pretty good place to play basketball. I mean, they usually get good talents coming out of the university. I feel like it's not a bad destination. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not from America. I could be wrong. I feel like they should be able to attract free agents. LaMelo Ball himself should be able to attract free agents. And I think this could be their step. This could either be their big step, or this is going to be this history repeating themselves. They got relatively close to the playoffs, and then they're going to fall off again. I really hope that the former, the first option, where they really take the next step, will be the option. I'm rooting for Charlotte. I've said this publicly. When Kobe White got traded to the Charlotte Hornets, because Kobe White, if you guys don't know, is my favorite player in the league. I love everything he's about. I love what he represents. I love the history of him as a Bull. I obviously love his story. I could very much relate to his story, what he grew up with as a kid, obviously with his family, one of his family members, his father passing away. A lot of things that a lot of people can relate to, and he's good as well. So that helps. But yeah, Kobe White is my favorite player in the league. I will easily say that every single time someone asks me. So I will root for the Charlotte Hornets. No, obviously, I'm a Bulls fan, so I want the Bulls to do well. I would hope one day the Bulls can overtake Charlotte in the standings and just in the natural position of where our futures lie. But if the Bulls right now are not out of it or completely out of it, they're not going to get anywhere near it, then yeah, I'd like to see Charlotte do quite well. That's just the reality of things. So to sum it up, I mean, I want to know I can't remember where the NBA draft selection was. So let me search that real quick, because that could be a very big indicator of what sort of offseason they will have. NBA draft pick. Let's see if they have their own pick or not. We'll use the AI mode and see what it says. The Charlotte Hornets have the number 14 and the number 18 pick in the upcoming 2026 NBA draft. I thought it'd be quite lower than that, like you'd get within the top 10. But again, this is such a loaded draft class. 14 and 18 will be very good selections. And I don't think they need dramatic superstar potential. They just need capable starters. I think they need forward help. I mean, guys like Bridges is good. but I don't necessarily think their depth in that position is really, really good. And I still think they need center help as well. They have good quality. I feel like their centers and forwards at best are slightly above average. And I think they need to kind of excel in that area. Or if they don't get... If they stick with slightly above average, I think they need slightly above average in the depth area as well off the bench. They need slightly above average starting, slightly above average off the bench. They need competition for those sort of places. And I think that's where their area is struggling at the moment. I actually like their guard system quite well. Knipple, LaMelo, Kobe, like those are really, really good foundational guards that make the difference for them, and I'm very impressed with that. But I do think they need more in the forward and center positions. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? To sum it up, I give their season an overall... I'm going to stick with 6 because I would have given them a 7 if they were close to the Orlando Magic in that play-in tournament game. But they got swept off the court. And for a team that's so identified as a defensive-minded team towards the end of the season, they let one of the worst offensive teams in the NBA playoff history score 120 points on them in that play-in tournament game. I can't give that a solid 7. I'm going to give it a 6 to a 6.5. They have so much more improvement to go, but I do think they're on the right trajectory, and that's all you can really ask for as a Hornets fan at the moment. Let's just hope they make some right decisions. Obviously, I don't think MJ's the owner anymore of the team or the GM or whatever the heck he was there. So maybe things can definitely change in a different direction. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the very next video. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.